looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jah Oil Company stands tall as a trusted name in energy, keeping the Gambia moving with service stations across the country and a commitment to innovation and reliability. In Farafenni, Jah Group is reshaping our industrial landscape. The Jah Oil Cement Factory can produce up to 100,000 bags a day, reducing imports, creating jobs, and building a stronger Gambia brick by brick. And in the heart of the Central River region, Jah Farming Initiative is cultivating food security. With thousands of hectares under development and modern irrigation, Jah Farming is turning the Gambia's soil into abundance. Jah Group is more than a company. It is a vision of self-sufficiency, resilience, and progress. The Jah Group of companies, investing in industry, agriculture, and energy, building the Gambia's future today. On Monday, the 13th of April, 2026, you're with Coffee Time with Peter Gomez. Our guest is Amadou Sanneh. He was once our finance minister, later our trade minister. Today, he is helping Alhaji Hussein Udabo and the rest of the UDP plot the electoral, let me stress, electoral downfall of the current administration, nothing to do with arms and ammunition and all of that, because when you talk about downfall, that's the first thing people think about.
Yes.
Let's talk about how a UDP government, if, the election cycle we are about to enter, goes your way,
Yes.
would run this country economic. We know that debt is a problem. You said it at the beginning. Inflation is beginning to be a problem. Aid dependency.
Yes.
Now, these are all not what, a country that is growing, should really depend on. So how would you tackle inflation? How would you tackle debt? How would you tackle our dependence almost entirely on aid?
Peter, thank you. First, I would say we are not plotting against the downfall. We're trying to rescue Gambia from the collapse, complete collapse. We know we've gone down, but I would rather say put it that way.
Okay.
I know he will feel, oh, these people are all evil. They are all plotting against me. But it's not him as a person. It's the country we are looking at. Now, you see, this is something we have, I must say, gone through before, an experience in it. We managed the debt. We had the Chinese completely forgiving us all their debt.
Oh, that has happened.
That has happened during my time. I went to the Paris Club twice to try to encourage the European creditors to also forgive their debts, but it was a tough one, and we were going back and forth.
What were you not satisfying them about?
No, they know we are on our knees, we had nothing.
But
a
lot of people suggested that we were not accepting their strings on LGBTQ, for instance.
No, at the time,
we should allow homosexuals to have the same rights as we.
No, at the time that was never an issue. It never surfaced. But there were multiple donors, and to bring them together to agree in a sort of coordinated way for debt forgiveness, that was difficult. Okay. We had different countries. The Indians would say, well, we have to go back to our government and then we'll get back to you. So, but the negotiations were on. The IDB
Islamic Development Bank.
Yes. They gave us 5 years moratorium on principal and interest. So we were not going to pay, and they were not going to add any interest on that. So after 5 years, hopefully we would have stabilized, we start paying. So we had done some initiatives, and then we reduced the treasury bill that the government was borrowing every time, to the extent that the banks invite them now and then. And one of the former managers, Central Bank, said, Mr. Sanneh, I've seen the way you are moving, and now you are giving us a lot of work. Yes, because the banks, when they buy treasury bills, they can sit in their office, raise their feet, drink their coffee, because the government has to pay.
Yes.
Whether it's this government, the next government, or whatever government. So it's risk-free. But when you are investing, like Peter goes with a project, I want this digital, media, I want TV and so on, so I need funds. They say, look, let me see, who is Peter? What does he have? Whether you have collateral or something. So you give them work to do. But I said, look, that's the way to build up the private sector. Give the funds to the private sector, not government amassing. So the government is crowding out the private sector, especially this government now, when most of the loans are in treasury bills. So that is not helping the economy.
So a UDP government will definitely change that.
We will change that, because we were reducing the treasury bills. The interest rates came down somewhere 21%, 18%. We brought it down to about 8%, 6%. Interest
I remember there was a time when it was a single-digit interest rate. Yeah. And people thought, well, investing in the central bank was not attractive anymore.
Yes.
And they were using their money to really build buildings.
And we had even one foreign investor, I think from South Africa, who invested in dollars, millions. Said, now we don't think we can invest in your country anymore because the interest rates are not that. Because they were investing at times when it went up, sometimes up to 30% or something. Yes. They were making lots of money. So we had to settle all this.
But that guaranteed that we had dollars always, didn't it?
No, we were improving. Yeah. Foreign remittances are a key source of forex in this country. We know the tourism is not as it used to be.
They will disagree with you on that.
It's just collapsed.
They will disagree with you on that.
I'll put them on a low scale.
Always, the figures that come out year in, year out are always, improvements.
No.
You're not suggesting that these are manufactured figures.
I had a meeting in one of the hotels. I wouldn't name hotels. But it's like a ghost town.
Yeah, but the reports you get are every year we are getting
more. The reports will always be nice. Even the fiscal reports we are getting, everything is fine, the country is booming. But talk to the ordinary man, the ordinary market woman. Nothing is fine, nothing is booming.
You know what they will say.
Yes.
Those are opposition people that you people deliberately go to.
Now, everybody who is a critic is an opposition. So we have a lot of partners. So we had done it before. Strict fiscal management. That's why we came to the vehicle policy. And today, when I was coming, I just printed something from their 2026 budget.
Oh, interesting to hear.
You have a budget on vehicles.
Yes.
2024, 699 million. 25, 733 million. And it's only on 2026 it came down to 334 million.
You think that's exorbitant?
More than exorbitant. What vehicles are you buying? For who?
Look at the vehicles they are driving, Amadou.
The waste in the system is just enormous. And really, if you are a conscientious person, you know that it's you and me and the taxpayer who are footing this bill. Can we afford this? Like the OIC, these flashy SUVs, it found that you had replaced your vehicles with Pajeros. Where are those new ones? Almost new ones.
When we were preparing to host the OIC, the process of, buying these vehicles, did it not start while you were in?
No, it did not.
Okay, so everything started after you,
After
and of
we
course
left.
your party leader had been
We left the
ejected
system.
from government.
Yes. So, no, but they all had vehicles, running vehicles. Why do you need a flashy one? Why? You see?
And not only is the vehicle itself expensive, running it
It's expensive.
could possibly even be more expensive.
Going down the road, when they start breaking down, you'll cry because you see all these massive, expensive vehicles that are parked somewhere. Is it a priority for this country? No.
Okay, what else about that budget do you find troubling?
No.
Quite apart from the amount of money, the eye-watering numbers being spent on vehicles.
Peter,
Yep.
he said he's president of roads. Every time foundations, we are laying stones and stones. I don't know, somebody was telling me we'll run out of stones to lay foundations very soon. But consciously and critically looking at our economy, is it a priority today? When you build roads, it's supposed to build accessibility. And this clearing of the roads, let's say it has to be wide like Brikama, where this money, and even in the Combos, destroyed so many businesses. The road in itself is not development. It's the people who utilize the road to improve their lives. But you destroy the poor woman's vegetables, throw it, drive her away, a capital of maybe 5,000 so on gone.
Yeah, but they would have been served notice when.
No, even with notice, you would have gone in terms, if you are developing, you use human development as a mother, not just road development. That is better. Whether you break somebody's head or you break somebody's resources, it doesn't matter to you. You are dealing with country, the people. The roads are supposed to serve the people. But those that you have destroyed the livelihood, even when you make the road, what do? They have to start afresh. You are bringing them down. Kololi. There's one place that is popular, Afra places. Sometimes I go there, not always, but
it's in the Kololi Tavern
Kololi area.
Ah.
So they removed him from the road. But what are those people doing against the traffic? They are not on the road. That road is wide, and cars won't go up to that side to run. No.
Okay. But what about
the concept, the model of development, it's not like that.
What about the roads that are being built, up country? To connect
Up-country
villages,
accessibility,
for ease of trade and movement of people.
It's supposed to be, but where's the trade?
But it's up to the people to trade.
Agriculture is going down. Not only up to the people. You create the resources, the facilities for the country to invest in development. But you leave them as they are. The poor farmer is using his donkey cart still, whether it's tar road or dusty road, but you have not given him the resources to invest in his farm to generate enough income to buy himself maybe a van or a to use those roads. So the roads in itself is not the only catalyst for development. It has to be integrated, with other efforts to bring people's livelihood up.
Okay.
So if today, let's say, to 2024, you put 1.4 billion in roads. 2025, you put 1.8 billion in roads. And then 2026, 1.5 billion in roads. You have thousands of youths dying in the sea, backway syndrome. And I don't say put the blame on the youths. Why go kill yourself when you know it's risky? What is the driving force, the factor within the country? But if, Peter, you were to invest 1.4 billion in youth development today, you could have reversed a trend that is existing.
Well, there's investment.
And that was...
There's investment in training centers for youths. Why are they not staying back and going into the TVET centers to learn a trade or two?
You see, our TVET centers, you cannot compare with other places, even like Senegal. Why are their technicians more skilled than us? It's the level that we are training them. And in the NDP, we had that strategy to build new centers that will elevate the level and the standard of training to make them entrepreneurs in mechanics, in electrical, in construction and so on, to a level where they will operate independently. And you empower them with resources to start with. 1.4 billion. We always say we are helping our women and sheep fattening. You give somebody 5 sheep or 2 cows. Really, what does that do for someone? This is not development program. You're just making expenditure small. Oh, we are doing something. You need a ranch for cows. We know we have a lot of cows. What we need is the feed production. Then we industrialize it. We have dairy production. I understand some people have started dairy production here. We produce cheese, butter. It's technical investment. And the kids will not see it as just being a Gainako, hold a stick and run around the...
Gainako is farmer.
Going around. No, in full, Gainako is the herdsman.
Oh, okay.
Run around the bush. I'm not going to run in the bush.
How can I be friends with Hamamba and I don't speak Fula?
Yeah. So the investment, for me, we are not doing the right investment or the scale it should be. Like the small ruminants project, I signed that in IDB before I was kicked out, $20 million. And what we requested then was we wanted both small ruminants and also a cattle ranch.
Is that what we
to
got?
Do all this. That's
what you recommended?
That's what we were negotiating.
Okay.
But they said, look, first let's start with the small ruminants. And then we can move up scale. The small ruminants project, I hardly hear about what is happening. We are still buying sheep.
Was the project approved?
Yes, it was being implemented.
The funding provided?
Yes, it was being implemented. But one of the
implementation is the problem.
Told me, look, your small ruminants project, it's coming to an end, and the follow-up, there is no follow-up on this program to upscale it or to have a phase 2. Always these projects go phase 1, phase 2. So it is sad. I feel sad because the development concept we had, you have a big sheep farm, not 5, 10. You should have 1,000. The feed, you produce it. In Ghana or other place, you have grass that you give to the animals. You grow them. But for us, our cattle will roam one forest to the other, and you will see the ribs coming out because of hunger. And then water, they go into this.
You know how they pass of those things? Sometimes when I see somebody, bring a sheep, for instance, and all the ribs are, almost protruding through the skin.
Unfortunately, they are hungry and sick.
No, what they tell you is not be beating against the geres. That's what they tell you. That one lay upper geres. That's what they tell you.
Oh, no, we see it differently. Yeah. But the development part, all these things could have been built. And when I tell you about donors, because when I was MD of Livestock Marketing Board at one time, we had built this ranch project, because LMB we had cows at Kabokor in Killing, and then site 3, where we have the area fenced by Yaya Jamme, it was under agriculture, and we had our animals there grazing and so on. So we built up this, and it was a complete project. We'll breed the animals, we'll offtake it, supply meat, and export. So we'll have a dairy plan, and that will also. There are countries like Botswana. I traveled there, I even had a picture of their cattle, cows, the breeds. They look so.
What happened to Andama cattle project? I mean, this was
this
international. Everybody was talking about Gambia, exporting
the donor challenge, because the idea came, they evaluated the project, they loved it, they approved it, say, okay, we'll take it to our board. And then PS Finance was Mamour Jan. Then he went to the board meeting. But when the World Bank learned of this, they said, no, government should not get involved in business. No, it's not like business. We are managing our natural resources. Cattle is part of 300,000, 400,000 heads of cattle in your country. You cannot manage it, and you just leave them to roam wildly. We had to do that. But they went to, again, State House, and they ordered him to withdraw the project. So that's how that thing collapsed.
Oh dear.
So throughout my life, it's a story of challenges and fighting against forces, really. Because all these things, all the frauds and all these things, we were not part of it. And I think also some of the forces that are in favor of maintaining the status quo, take what you want and do what you want with impunity, they were also fighting. So for us, we thank God we had not been involved in all that.
The question I asked that led to all that information that you just shared was, how would a UDP government deal with inflation, aid dependency, and debt?
No.
So you are you in effect saying, well, how the UDP would deal with this? I already started showing when I was in the Ministry of Finance.
It was paying dividends. It's not a one
size fits all approach.
Solution. It's the entire economic management that will impact on the inflation. Like I said, your fiscal management, your currency, the less impact on your dalasi, that is devaluation of the dalasi, the more you have a chance of controlling inflation. The more loans you take, the higher you push up the commercial interest rates. Like today, if you want to borrow from the commercial banks, how much are they asking? It's 18, 20, 21%. Go to other countries, it's around 8%. So for a businessman here, the challenge is 10 times much higher than in other countries. So we are not providing the fiscal environment for business to thrive. So that's why sometimes you go to the courthouse, you see the banks taking a lot of mortgages to court, and people are losing their properties and guarantees. Because at 20, 21%, over a short time, it will
build up.
Almost double your loan.
Then you run out of
So unless it's just trading, you import wholesale, just sell immediately, and within a month or two you repay your loan. But like in agriculture, if I have to borrow at that rate, before your fruit tree starts producing its fruit, 2 years minimum, 3 years, some will go like 5 years or so. So imagine the interest if that is to accumulate I cannot pay the loan. So you'll tell the bank, come and take the garden. And you lose. So the environment that we are in is not helping business, the business sector capitalize, or new businesses even to acquire capital. And because you are borrowing a lot, the banks are comfortable to loan the government billions. Let me see our loan portfolio.
Oh, that should be very interesting. Get a lot of conversation around loans and
yes,
and how much that is not actual loans contracted by this current government.
This government, yes. Really, we were around 50 billion dollars.
At the time when you were leaving government.
When we were leaving.
Yes.
Now, today, the last one was 129 billion.
Definitely more than twice the 50 billion.
More than twice.
Yeah.
And what would that do for the Gambia? You are saddled with that.
But there's an explanation as to why that would double over time. Because the loans were not contracted in dollars, they were contracted in euros, dollars.
But as I said,
yuan,
a lot of it is domestic borrowing.
Oh, you're talking about domestic borrowing? Okay.
Like for 2026, they plan to borrow 7.6 billion.
Dollars.
Domestic foreign borrowing is just 1.4 billion. In 2025, it was 5.7 billion domestic borrowing. Those are in dollars, and the foreign borrowing was 2.4 billion.
Okay, and you're saying when you were leaving office,
it was just 50.
Just 50 billion,
and we were bringing it down.
They are now thinking of borrowing what?
7.6 billion. So what are you telling the economy? We'll take all the money and use it in road construction or this bloated government budget expenditures. And then at the end of the day, what do you expect to come out of it? Gambia is at a stage where we need investments in productive ventures, in industries, in factories that will regenerate the economy and provide jobs and employment and income. But we are not seeing that. If you look at the budget, it's almost like entirely on overheads. So the future of the country, we say we depend on foreign investment, but is the environment, providing that kind of investment to move the economy upward? No, I said no. So the loans have to be managed. You cannot just keep taking the loans. I'll tell you the comfort that they have, this government, and taking more loans, because they say loan to GDP is 78%, or is now less than the 129 it used to be when we were there. Why? There was a rebasing. GBOS, we had an expert statistician from Rwanda in GBOS who was rebasing, because the debt to GDP ratio was based on a figure, I don't remember, is it in the 70s or 80s figure, which excluded a lot of the informal sector. And Gambia, the informal sector is huge.
Yeah,
you talk about the Lumos.
It's the engine of the economy.
And the agricultural sector, the private businesses and so on. So we were going to bring this in and rebase this GDP. And that, when you increase it, brings the ratio down. But if you bring that ratio down, does that mean you have the capacity to repay more and more loans?
Does it mean that?
No. I think that's a serious mistake they are using. We have fiscal space, we are just 78%. From 50 you go to 150. And if you look at the interest rates, it's just too much. Interest on loans in government is going to, from foreign government, is 1.1 billion. On treasury bills, and on bonds, it's 5.7 billion. 5.7 billion can do a lot in your health sector or your education.
5.7 what?
Billion
what?
Dollars. So that comfort you think, because the figure has gone down, does not increase your earning capacity exponentially. No. We are tax based. All right, the tax income is increasing, yes, but there is a threshold. If you go beyond a certain rate, you will have negative returns. Okay. People are going to say, look, we cannot pay more. Okay. And then you'll have a lot of ways to beat the system and so on.
Okay.